Good afternoon once again, everybody. From the 2011 Little League World Series from the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, I'm Mitch Rupert. This is Chris Massey. He'll be covering the U.S. side of the tournament all week. We're here at Lamade Stadium on Saturday afternoon, the third day of the tournament, and we're going to talk a little bit about the epic game last night between the Keystone Little League, the Mid-Atlantic region champs, as well as Kentucky, the Great Lakes region champs, who won the game 1-0. First off, Chris, let's talk about the atmosphere here last night. Over 41,000 fans estimated here at this ball game. What was the atmosphere like for this game?
It was unbelievable. I've been doing this for 13 seasons now, and like nothing I've ever seen. It was pretty electric. I look up at the big hill here. Usually, you might see it 3/4 full for a world championship. Every square inch was filled last night, and the noise was amazing. Every time Keystone made a good play, even when they just threw a strike, the place seemed ready to erupt. I think if you would have seen somebody from Keystone hit a home run, score a run, the roof would have blown off. We would have been measuring it on the Richter scale. So it was great. It was a great moment for Little League Baseball, and it was a great game to boot.
Keystone playing again here tonight at 8 o'clock in prime time. You'll be able to see it on the network of ESPN. They'll be carrying the ball game. Are we expecting the same kind of thing here tonight?
Yeah, I don't anticipate anything different. I look up at the lower hill here. They already got all the chairs and blankets set up. So I think that's a good barometer of the fact that you're going to see a pretty huge crowd again. I don't think the loss is going to distinguish the flame, so to speak, that Keystone's built up in terms of their passion following. And I think that the fact that I think they enter tonight as the favorite, I think that's going to help. I don't think you're going to see anybody jumping off the bandwagon. I expect it to be every bit as raucous as it was last night.
Before the game yesterday, we talked about Great Lakes ace Griffin McLarty. He didn't disappoint last night. He took that moment in front of about 40,000 fans not rooting for him, and he seized control. How amazing was it what he did last night, pitching a 5-hit shutout and hitting the solo homer to win it?
It was unbelievable. For a 12-year-old, about 13 technically, he turned 13 last week. To go out and own the moment like that, that's unbelievable. That speaks to a kid that's mature beyond his years. I can't imagine being that old and looking up and seeing all those people against you, not in a bad way, but just not cheering for you and being able to handle that and keep your emotions under control. And he just seemed to feed off it. It seemed to fire him up in a good way. I think he fed off the adrenaline and just kept focused on what he had to do, able to somehow block all that out, and it was amazing. And it seemed like the louder the crowd got, the better he pitched. The more the pressure was on, the better he pitched. From an individual standpoint, maybe one of the most impressive performances I've ever seen here.
It's hard to believe it's been 9 years since we've seen a Kentucky pitcher dominate like Griffin McLarty did last night. Aaron Alvey pitched the Lexington, Kentucky team to a world title in 2002. He had an epic 11-inning game against Texas, I believe it was, where he struck out 19 in 9 innings of work. Can you compare the two in maybe not saying who was the better player, but are the two players comparable?
I think so. Aaron was a little bit bigger, a little more physically imposing, but they're both the same kind of pitcher. They both bring it in the lower to mid 70s. Both have good breaking stuff. Every time they take the mound, they have a chance to do something special, and they both have tremendous bats. And when Aaron got hold of one, it went a long way. You saw that with Griffin last night. You saw it in the Great Lakes final against Ohio. He hit a ball about 300 feet over the right field scoreboard, which was pretty amazing. So I see a lot of similarities between them. And it was just like last night was just like Aaron against Japan in the World Final. He pitched a complete game shutout, hit the home run in the first inning, like a carbon copy. So I remember Aaron. I think he was a dominant athlete that was a baseball, that was playing baseball. Where I look at Griffin McLarty and I think he's just a pure baseball player. Both either way you slice it, they're both great players. But I think maybe in the long run, Griffin has the better chance for long-term success.
Two of the biggest plays we saw in last night's game were the two plays at home plate where Keystone had a runner cut down at the plate. I think trying to be aggressive, knowing you couldn't count on an extra hit off of Griffin McLarty. Did you like the aggressive base running from Keystone?
it's hard to say. I mean, it's easy to play. Hindsight's 20/20. I thought in the fifth inning it was a little risky to send Wyatt Cook home on a play back to the mound. But again, I think if Griffin McLarty's not pitching, Keystone probably doesn't do that. Bill Garbrick, the manager, said afterwards they would have done the same thing regardless of who was pitching. But I'm not buying it. I think when you got a pitcher that's dominating the way McLarty was, I think you feel like you have to take chances because you don't know if you're going to have another chance like that. The sixth inning, I didn't like that call because as fast as Tyler McCloskey is, you're looking at a first and third possibility with no outs and the heart of your order coming up, including your best hitter and Alex Garbrick coming up. And I don't know if I don't even know if it was Garbrick's call. He said it was afterward, but if you watch the replays, it looked like McCloskey was going the whole way. It's a play that's worked for them. They've been aggressive the whole way. And to their credit, they put the pressure on Kentucky. Kentucky had to make two great plays to get those outs. But just because of the situation, I wouldn't have done it, especially in the sixth inning. I would have tried to let my better hitters come up and win the game for me. And like I said, hindsight's 20/20, but Garbrick comes up and he gets the big single there. Now you're looking at a tie game with second and third and no outs. So maybe they win the game, but that's a tough spot to be in for Bill Garbrick. It's a lot of pressure on him there, and it's easy to caught up in the emotion of the moment. So, it's easy for me to sit here and say he shouldn't have done this, he should have done this. I'll take his track record over mine.
I like the aggressiveness, though. I like seeing Keystone trying to win the ball game as opposed to sitting back and trying not to lose. What is next for Keystone? Who do they face tonight? How do you like their chances?
They've got Rhode Island at 8 o'clock tonight. I think they're definitely the favorite going into that game. Rhode Island's coming off an 11-0 loss to California. No shame in that. California is a great team. But I think Keystone matches up well with them. I think they still have Alex Garbrick, who technically is their number one pitcher. Rhode Island used their number one yesterday. They're not going to see the dominant kind of pitching that Griffin McLarty provided last night. They're not going to see that tonight, so I think you'll see Keystone score some runs. I think Garbrick will throw a nice game. I think Keystone wins this and keeps this thing going. And I think if they win tonight, not having the bracket in front of me, I think they play again Monday in another elimination game against. I'll have to get back here on who it would be against. A lot of scenarios there, depending on how some other games play out.
8 o'clock tonight, Keystone plays their second game of this 2011 Little League World Series against Rhode Island. From the Williamsport Sun-Gazette, from Lamade Stadium here in South Williamsport, I'm Mitch Rupert alongside the Dr. Chris Massey. We'll talk to you soon.